So many of the works in the exhibition are really looking and thinking about the domestic and the everyday. So that might range hugely from using media, from textiles to printmaking to painting to pottery and ceramics. But I think that the exhibition sets up really interesting series of relationships and juxtapositions between works that in different ways think about or use or work with the kind of everyday objects that we surround ourselves by, whether it's clothing that we're wearing or some cup or a bowl that we hold in our hands. What are those things that we have in our domestic environments that we live with day to day? And how do we interact with them? There's a kind of tactile sense, what we touch, what we hold, what we wear next to our skin. So all of those things come into play, and you know, in being in the gallery space, you can really start to feel these relationships coming out through the works. I think the body is implicated in many of the different works in the exhibition. In a most obvious sense, in the quilts, as you know, the shirts, the items of clothing that were worn next to the skin. So the quilts are using shirts that belong to the architect, British architect John Miller. You know, items of clothing are kind of the most obvious sense of a reference to the body. With Anne Sutton's prints, we see these kind of discarded stockings, and there's a sense in which, you know, they obviously reference the foot or the leg, but then there are also items that are knitted, whether by machine or by hand. So then you start to think, yes, that's a different kind of way in which this thread has been touched by skin or by the body. There's obviously the painter's gesture in the works by Lisa Milroy, but also, you know, she's painting shoes that are themselves these kind of objects that we might see. Yes, they're items of clothing, they're meant to be worn on our feet. And you start to wonder, whose shoes are these, and why are they arranged like this, and why are they presented in this way? But then the more you look and the more you spend time with the artwork, we might start to see them in different ways, and the references to the body might come out in different ways. So I started thinking about the empty shoe as being like a vessel. And then, of course, that has a relationship to the vessels that we get in Julian Stair's ceramic practice, so something that we hold in the hand, as well as being handmade itself. I think there's a relationship between this sense of the everyday and the domestic, and also the kind of rituals that we might go through in our domestic existence, if you like. I'm particularly thinking about the work of Julian Stair and how we would use the objects that he creates, the pots, the cups, the bowls, the dishes, and the beautiful film where this whole dinner service is activated, if you like, as a sort of performance. But these kinds of things are part and parcel, this tactile, sensual experience of everyday objects and the rituals that we go through just in our day-to-day existence.